I wasn't kidding when I said you can store a lot inside of variables. Adding to the list, we have save count, battle count, win count, and escape count. These are exactly what they sound like, and they can be used in a few different ways. The first thing that comes to mind is a custom menu system made through events, or a special key item like a journal or log that allows you to view the various things you've accomplished in your time with the game. You could also use these with conditional branches and have something like an NPC that gives you items based on how many wins you've accumulated or how many battles you've had. Today, I read a tweet from the RPG Maker team that I was not expecting. RPG Maker MV recently received an update giving it the notification feature recently added to MZ, as well as an updated plugin. The bundled plugin got replaced with custom logo, which MZ also has, to allow you to use up to 3 logos on boot and allows the player to skip them by tapping or pressing any key. It's weird seeing an engine from 2 iterations ago receive an update like this, even though it is relatively minor and just bringing it to parity with MZ. A large portion of the RM user base still uses MV regularly, as it is fairly close to MZ in functionality, has a wider variety of low or no cost to access plugins, and receives steeper discounts when on sale. After all the recent Unity backlash, it's nice to see that pre-Unite RPG makers are still receiving quality of life updates. Here's something that you might not know you can do with show text. You can change a message's font size from within the show text command. Use backslash and an opening bracket to take the font size a step up. A step is 12, so if your default font size is 26, a step up would be 38. You can also use backslash with a closing bracket to take your font a step down. You can even specify a font size by typing backslash FS, presumably standing for font size, and specify the size you'd like. These could be used for comedic moments for loud or quiet characters, or if you're like me, you can use this with a plugin like Text-to-Picture to create varying text sizes for an event-only custom menu. I can't believe this is still going either, but here's even more stuff that you can store inside of variables. Under game data, you can store any of an actor's stats or an enemy's in a variable. This includes HP, MP, attack, defense, that kind of stuff. Now, the things that you do with those variables are limited only by your creativity, but here's a quick made-up-on-the-fly example. You could have a skill that has a chance to strike twice based on the character's luck. Set their luck to a variable in a common event, check if it's above a certain amount, and if so, have them strike again. Just make sure you have a way to break the loop like you see here. What are some of your favorite ways to use these stats and variables? I can't believe that I didn't know this, and now I have to tell you about it. To me, one of the biggest atrocities RPG Maker committed going from MV to MZ was removing the frame-by-frame animation system present in MV in pretty much every RPG Maker beforehand, replacing it with these pre-made effects here animations and reducing a lot of the agency you had to make custom animations inside of the engine. Turns out you can still access this old animation screen inside of MZ. Go to animations in the database, right-click an empty space and click Create MV Compatible Data. Now you can use the old animation system, and you can even import the animations from MV into your MZ project. Here we are again, preaching the good word of variables and their almost unlimited power. In the game data category, under Other, you can store party member size, steps, and playtime in a variable. Let's talk about a few examples of ways to use these. You could have a Coliseum event that only allows a certain number of party members and use a variable that contains the number of party members to check that. You could also have certain events that only occur when the player has reached a certain playtime or something that happens to the player every 2,000 steps or so. Maybe they get an HP boost or stamina every so many steps. Let me know your favorite ways to use this data in the comments. Do you ever get tired of hitting the playtest button over and over again? This tip will admittedly not save you a lot of time, but it's convenient functionality nonetheless. You can use F5 inside the playtest window to refresh your playtest. Let's say you want to move some things around, maybe add a player NPC or a treasure chest, something like that. Make your changes and then make sure that you save. It's important that you save or else this refresh shortcut won't work. After you've saved, you can press F5 and you'll see all of your changes reflected in the playtest window. This might not do anything for some people, but for me it's nice because, sometimes I've got it in a full screen window and I just get annoyed having to close the window, start it, close the window, start it. Now you can just press F5. Everybody knows that having a good FPS directly correlates to having a bigger. You can pull up your in-game FPS inside of the playtest window by pressing F2. This is useful for checking to see if you have too many events, running parallel processes, or if you just have too much going on in general, as you'll start to see the FPS dip. Now this also depends on your PC's performance, but it's still a nice tool to have in your kit to optimize your game. I can only playtest the same series of events so many times before it gets incredibly old. Here's a quick tip to help you speed up your playtests. If you hold down the Z button while your events are taking place, you can increase the speed in which they execute. Here's a laser sequence that I've made for a game I'm working on running at normal speed. Here's the same exact sequence of events, but this time I'm holding Z. As you can see, the laser travels much more quickly. Just keep in mind that this can get weird with the timing of sounds and animations, but otherwise it's a hugely helpful feature.